We think we're going to be ready in the next several months, so we're thinking somewhere around mid-June to mid-July.
And what would be the next hurdles that you have to overcome? Obviously, there's regulatory issues to get the operating license.
We're in the last stages of our operating permit application, so we've got 2 aircraft we're bringing over for the United States in the near term. That will kick off their review, the CAAC's review our application, and then it should be done shortly thereafter.
What is the potential of this market? I could guess the potential, and I've flown on some of the private jets here, and I know it's starting to take off with the executives here. How do you see your model, which you're not actually importing here directly as the fractional ownership model yet, but how do you see the business taking off?
Our first model here will be whole aircraft management. So someone will bring an aircraft to us that they own outright today, and we'll do everything that they need in order for them to use that aircraft. We expect that to be a very large market over time. It could be as large as that which we have in the United States, and perhaps even larger within a relatively short period of time. And ultimately, fractional may be the same. It may surpass that of the United States.
What are you finding about the fractional market, which doesn't exist here? What would be the hurdles to bringing out that model here in the Chinese market?
Flexibility of airspace, flexibility of permitting and planning and scheduling, the building of infrastructure. We think the Chinese government's taking great strides in that area today, but they've got a little bit of ways to go. What's
your outlook on the continued rise of the Chinese economy and the making of the multimillionaires that would subscribe to your service? There is a slowing pace of growth. Do you see, mixing metaphors here, but speed bumps in the economy?
Well, we think growth will slow as an absolute basis over time. We don't think that's a problem. We think that's the natural development of an economy of this type as it switches from low-cost manufacturing base to a higher-cost service base. And we think for our purposes, it will be just as fruitful as if it were continuing to grow apace in the way that it has.
Now, you, a couple of years ago, made a big bet on aircraft. You had one of the largest, I believe, aircraft orders for your type of business. Are there more aircraft that would be needed for the China market?
We bought $17.6 billion worth of aircraft, and you're correct, that's solely for our operations in Europe and the U.S. And if the Chinese market takes off in the medium term, we think we probably need more. We'll just have to wait and see what develops.
Why do you think you could make it in China when you've had some struggles in the United States?
Well, it's a challenging business no matter where you are. We've been consistently profitable since 2009, which was a rough year for everyone in the industry. And so we think if properly run in standard and somewhat predictable economic conditions, we can be profitable here as well.
How much support do you still have from Warren? Mr. Buffett.
We have a great deal of support. Warren flies with us.
Yeah.
That's how he gets around, and I think he just has an innate interest in the business. Yeah. So he and I talk regularly about what we're doing and what we're up to, and he's given us his full support.
He's been looking at China investments. I know he invested in the BYD. What does he think about the China push and how much really needs to be invested here?
I think he's quite interested in what we're doing. The initial model we're employing, which is managing whole aircraft owned by others, is not capital intensive. And so he's interested in that as a way to test the market and see where it might go in the future. And as you say, he's been in China now for some time, and I think he's excited about its potential.